Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mission Employable podcast. My name is Ben Oldach, and I am 20 minutes away from going on vocal rest. So we're excited to finish up here. Our final podcast up in the Sioux City area. We're actually in Lamar's, which is like, 30 minutes north of Sioux City, for those who don't know. And we're with the Lamar's Fire Department, who is running in collaboration with the high school here this really cool work-based learning program where students from the high school get to come in here and learn what it takes to be an EMT and kind of either continue on that track afterwards or take that knowledge to another kind of career field that's related to it, or not at all. But with us today is Kathy Leggett, my co-host, who's going to be taking over the heavy lifting for some of these questions, as my voice is not great. And we also have John MacGregor. He's the battalion chief here and the lead instructor for this program. And we're really excited to have him in here to talk about this from the fire department side. We were with the principal earlier to talk about it from the high school's perspective. And it's just a lot of really interesting information. And make sure to stick around, because after we talk to John, we're actually going to be talking to his son, who is part of the program here and is taking the class. So a lot of really great stuff to get to. So first of all, just John, welcome in to your own exercise room where we've set up the microphone. Yes. And we appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's we're a busy department. We're out of space. We're trying to get a bond issue for a new fire station so we can get some more room. So if we do a podcast in the future, we don't have to be sitting by treadmills and free weights and exercise bikes and so on and so forth.
That's right.
So,
but it works. So
it
does.
Thank
you so much for hosting us here. We just spent this morning here and we're able to watch the class that we're going to talk about, the partnership between the high school and the fire department. And John, I just have to say, great class. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I learned a lot, and the time went fast. Wonderful instructor you are. So thanks for letting us do that. And then the students did some hands-on, and we're going to get into some of that. But first, if you can tell us a little more about yourself and then just about the Lamar's Fire Department.
As I said, my name is John MacGregor. I'm a battalion chief, EMS supervisor here in Lamar's. I've been in the EMS world since 2001. 2001, I started my EMS career as a basic EMT. Worked my way up through the entire EMS system in the state of Iowa. I've held every level from EMT up that the state of Iowa has, even some legacy levels that they don't offer anymore. I held some of those as well. I'm a critical care paramedic. I'm just a couple classes away from being able to be a flight medic. Some tests and stuff that I have to take, but I've been in the business since 2001, so been in the business about going on 24 years now. Lamar's Fire Department is a combination department. In July of 2021, we merged. We had a city ambulance service and a city fire department. Both departments were seeing issues with volunteerism, staffing issues, call volume was increasing. We had to figure out what we were going to do, so we merged the two together. So we put the fire department and the ambulance together, which helped us immensely with that. Our department runs about 2,000 calls a year, right around 5 calls a day on average or so. That's what we do. We're super busy. We're an all hazards department. We do everything from EMS, medical. We do transfers, transport units. We do fire mitigation, we do hazmat, we do confined space. If there's a problem in our area, call us. We're more than willing to help. We will help everybody. We cover over 200 square miles of rural territory. So our area is quite big, as well as the town of Lamar's. It's just over 10,000 people. So we're super busy with that. Community hospital, we work well with them. We have programs that we work together on. We have 11 full-time guys on the department, and we have 28 volunteers on the department as well.
That's awesome. That is so great. And so tell us a little bit, you help lead this program. You are the instructor. You host the students here at the fire department, which I think is amazing for them. And so tell us a little bit about how this works for the fire department.
Part of my job is I am the EMS, obviously being the EMS supervisor. Part of my job is training. So I'm in charge of all EMS training for our department, as well as some other aspects in the department as well. And with this program that's been in place now for about 7 or 8 years now, we've had it together. This partnership's been going on. Part of my job is to do this class, and the class starts every morning at 7 a.m. The high school students come in and we teach class. Class can exist of lecture class time. We have hands-on time. It's really nice when it's in class, having it here at the fire station versus the high school, because if we're talking about something in class and all of a sudden I talk about a piece of equipment that you might use, or how you would do this on a patient, or how you do that, I just run out to the truck and grab it. I walk 15 feet and I grab it and I pull it out, or the kids ask a question about something. Hey, I saw this, what about that? And I'm like, yeah, let's go look at it. And we can actually take a field trip to the apparatus bay, which is literally 35 feet from the classroom, and they can see the equipment and they can see it firsthand, kind of deal. So it's kind of nice being able to have it nice here, ready to go. Kids don't have to travel to go from place to place to see the equipment. It's all right here, ready to go. We're an active, fully involved fire department. In this building, we have 2 ambulances. We have a third one in a different station. So they're fully equipped ambulances, ALS level trucks, so they're able to look and see what they want and use all the equipment that's available to them.
So tell us why you do this.
Other than the fact that it's my job, I think pass it on. Sorry if I get emotional.
No, it's okay.
I'm getting older in my career, and I'm 20 some years in, and the day is coming I'm going to end. And I need to pass that on. Because I'm sorry, I just got
That's okay. No, it's okay. That's a passion. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I can see you're growing that passion in the youth by, just to speak to what you said, passing it on, being here and having the opportunity to interview. We talked to all the high school seniors that are in your class, and you are passing it on.
Yeah. I've seen in my career, I've seen ambulance departments close. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine, his dad died. And I honestly believe he died because he lived in a town that the ambulance closed. Mm-hmm. So it hits hard.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Now, whether he still would be alive today, if that ambulance had still been in business, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I can't say one way or the other. Mm-hmm. But I honestly believe it played a factor in his survivability. So to get more people involved in this business, I see volunteerism going away hugely. And not just EMS and not fire, but your local service clubs. Right. We have a big celebration in town every year called Ice Cream Days because we're the ice cream capital of the world, and stuff. So getting volunteers for that, is a huge undertaking for that. But passing it on, I do it for that. The passion to teach, the job to pass it on, pass on the knowledge as you get older in your career, is vital. To keep the business going. Everybody in the country, when you pick up the phone and you dial 911, what do you expect? Mm-hmm. You expect the police department, fire department, and ambulance to show up. Okay? Unfortunately, in some parts of the country, that can take minutes to hours. Okay? We pride ourselves on a very fast response time in our jurisdiction because of our staffing and the way we do things. It could be better, but it's not horrible. But I think we just need to get more and more people involved, and doing this through the program with the high school students is the best way to do it. Start them young, and then get them involved and interested in the business. A lot of kids coming out of high school don't really know what they want to do. They're going into jobs that they get there, and at the end, there's nothing at the end. I got a good friend of mine. He's going through school to be a civil engineer. He's graduating college with a 4-year degree in civil engineering, and he has no job availability because every job's full. Where a job like this, you go to school, you get your EMT, you get a job right away out of school. And if you want to advance it, there is advancement opportunities. You can go be a paramedic. You can go be a critical care paramedic. You want to fly in a helicopter or an airplane. And then you want to go work in a hospital. You can work in an ICU. All those different things in healthcare just opens the rose opens up to everything you can possibly do if you start with the right base.
Yeah.
And the reason I do it, I just have such a great passion for it. Thank you for saying you like the class and I teach well. I take a lot of pride in my classes, passing that information on to them, but that's my main reason to do is just that passion.
Yeah, I think that is so many things that you said are so important. So this is I think a gateway opportunity into healthcare, and really can help people see the different aspects of it through the program, because there are many different aspects. Also, as you mentioned, high demand. These jobs are high demand: EMT, paramedic, healthcare across the board. And so we really want to open those doors to individuals to get into these occupations. And then the other thing you hit on, I think, is, kind of community service and volunteerism. And there's a lot of pride in doing that, and a lot of camaraderie that goes along with it. They're really valuable lessons, and the students in this program are getting all of those. And so I think it's such a win-win for them, for the fire department and the school and the community. We talked to several of them, and one of them currently volunteers with the fire department, I think in Merrill. And they're all seeing that either this is the path they're going to take, or this is something they'll do while they're doing something else. And so just real value all the way around. So one thing I wanted to ask you about from the fire department and your instructor perspective is, I know that the students and the school in the area, it's kind of a partnership between the school, the high school, the community college, and the fire department. And the school's able to use concurrent enrollment to help with some of the funding. How are you able to teach this through the community college, or what was that process like? In case others, are looking at this, how did that work?
Yeah, I'm an adjunct professor through the community college. I have my EMS teaching endorsement license that I have, one of the many things that I have. You can get that either through a program like a EMS educator program, or you can get it through the fire service. Fire department instructors, if you're a fire instructor, you can get your EMS instructor grandfathered in. You just have to apply and talk to the state of Iowa, talk to the Bureau of Emergency Services, talk to them at the state level, and go through some questions and stuff. Watch a video, be on like a Zoom for a couple hours, and then you get your license to be able to teach. It's not super hard to get. It's a little bit, and it's not really about what to teach, it's how to teach. But yeah, I got my EMS license, EMS teaching license. I have that. I also have my fire instructor and everything else as well. And then I'm an adjunct professor. I've taught classes, CPR classes. I've helped out with classes. I teach other classes at the community college. So when I said, hey, I want to teach this class, or I'm going to be the next teacher, they're like, okay, submit your credentials, submit this, submit that. And everything was gone through. Obviously there's a background check involved, everything else. But it wasn't very difficult. Is there some continuing that I have to do for the college? Yeah, there's a little bit of college stuff I got to do. But to become an adjunct professor for the community college wasn't that difficult. It's basically just paperwork.
And again, just to lend to the great partnership is you have the hands-on experience. You live this job. You've done it for so many years. So that can only benefit the people that you're teaching.
Yeah,
you bring that real world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I teach a CPR class to just a group of, actually coming up next week. I got a county maintenance guys are coming in for a CPR class, and we've taught them for many, many, many years. And they always come out of the class saying, it's so great to just have that real life connection, that somebody's in the business can talk about this directly and what's going on. And so that whole circle that comes around, and be able to help give them the real life experience, like what it's going to be like when you're in the field, whether it's doing CPR or it's on an ambulance or in a fire or on a fire service or whatever, what it's going to be like. And it just gives them that hands-on experience where when stuff happens, then they're like, oh, yeah, they talked about that. It's not a huge surprise or a shock to them, so they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
You see these kids obviously develop throughout their time here. What's that change like to see them when they first come in here to by the time they get ready to go, and how proud does that make you?
So proud, like brings me to tears. There's one kid in particular in the class, and I won't mention his name. He struggled really hard. And there were supposed to be 2 other kids in the class. They didn't take the class. They registered but never actually started to take the class. And I was talking with one of the other students one day about that, and he said, yeah, they're not the greatest students. They were wanting to use it as time away from school. They thought it was a way to get out of class, all this other stuff for the ride time they got to do. And he's like, no, this is a hard class. And so there's one kid in the class, he struggled the first month. He wasn't doing very well. His grades were slipping. I could tell he was really struggling. We talked about it. And then about 2.5 weeks ago, bam. He is on it. He has got it. He knows a light bulb flipped. And I'm like, yes, he got it. Now, all the kids have got it already by now. Every single one of them hit it at a different point. There were some of them that got it right away. There was other ones that obviously this one, he was the slowest, which is fine. But he got it. And now he's doing well. His grades are great. They're getting better and better. Some of the best grades in the class at times. His hands-on stuff, when we do the hands-on practice, is fantastic. And stuff. So yeah, it makes you so proud. There's always going to be that point. And the nice thing is about being in the business, being a critical care medic, having gone through classes all the way along, and the years of training that I've gone through, I've had those moments too. I remember sitting in paramedic school. I can't remember a whole lot about EMT school because it was so long ago. But paramedic school, I remember sitting in class going, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is absolutely... And it was a hybrid class too, so it was online and in face to face. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then all of a sudden, boom, it clicked, and I said, yes, this is for me. So I've had that aha moment. I've had that. So to see that in a kid or in a student is just fabulous, And it's I'd be doing a very disservice if they don't get to that. They got to make that pop. So.
Can you talk a little bit about the benefit for the fire department?
Benefit from the fire department from us, ultimately, would we love to have some of these students, the local kids that are in the class, would we love for them to join our department? Absolutely. We do realize they're high school seniors. Maybe living in Lamar's is not their ultimate goal at this point in life. They'll move away to a bigger city and try bigger and better things, and then maybe move back and go, hey, Lamar's isn't so bad after all, to raise a family and live and whatever. Ultimately, from us as a benefit, we get experience, you get exposure. We also learn as well as crew members. We learn, we help. So not only in class, but when the kids are actually doing their ride time and their clinical time, we as members of the department, even if it's not me, like the other people that are on the truck with them, they're teaching as well. So they're learning more and more as they go, and they kind of remember some stuff. Hey, I remember doing that. Maybe I need to do that a little better on my own, kind of deal. We might have a few, shortcuts that we're doing, but now we need to switch back to, hey, maybe we should do this a little differently. From the department, that's good from that side of it. With the recruitment and retention, we look at it as a bonus, a win. It's a bonus if they come to us. It's a win if they join a department somewhere. I know there's a couple of the kids, or 3 of them, have indicated they would like to go maybe work for another full-time department in the region, which is perfectly fine. But the thing is if they don't live in that town and they live in their hometown, they can help out in their hometown department when they're there. When they come back from college, they can come back and help out for 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is on spring break with that. Or they move away to college. I think my oldest son, he hasn't picked his school yet, but it's not going to be anywhere close. I know that. It's going to be a minimum of 6 hours away. All the schools he's looking at are 6 hours or more. Can he help out their local department? Absolutely. That's a win. That town in Kansas that gets a new EMT because he took it at a high school level, it's fantastic, kind of deal. So for us, just to get more people in the business, whether it directly helps us or not, that's not the goal, is to make our department better. It's to make fire and EMS, state and nationwide better. Yeah. Is our goal.
What kind of advice would you give to other departments that may be thinking about starting up this program but maybe concerned about the lift that it takes to get something up and running?
Yeah, it's all you got to have the partnership. Have the partnership with the fire department and the local community college and the high school. The biggest lift is just being able to have somebody willing to teach it. That's your biggest part. And once you get that set, the curriculum is pretty much standard. That's pretty easy to do. They give you, the community college helps you with all that kind of stuff. Yes, there's this administration stuff you got to do and paperwork and background stuff, but nothing of any major lifting with that. Just being willing to do it. and having a department that's forthright with wanting to do it as well, and using your equipment and practicing on it. Like today, they put on some equipment that I haven't used. That one piece of equipment they used today, I've used twice in my career. That's it. Those kids that use it today, they may never use it again. But it's one of those pieces of equipment that gets forgot about, and they use it. I learn every day as I go through it, because as I'm teaching them how to use it, I'm going, okay, what did I remember from 20 years ago? How do I do this and stuff? But part of you just got to have the willingness to do it. It doesn't take a ton of time. Class takes 2 hours a day. I bet I spend maybe another hour a day on class. So I'm probably spending 3 hours a day on class. That's it. So it's really not that big of a deal for us as a full-time department with being one of the full-time guys. Mm-hmm. If you had a volunteer doing it, it could be a little bit more of a challenge to them. But and getting buy-in from your whole department as well. So because it's not just me, teaching class, yes, it's just me. But then once they start breaking off and we start letting them spread their wings and learn, they're going out to the truck. They're riding with the next crew that's on that truck, whether it's red shift, black shift, ABC shift, whatever you call them. Those group of people have to have buy-in as well, that they're willing to teach the EMT student that's on the truck. And we're really big into that as far as buy-in across the board. We have paramedic students that ride with us. We have EMT students that ride with us, advanced EMT students from all over the region that will come and ride with us. Maybe it's a little bit easier for us to understand that because since we merged, we've been, at any given point in time, we've almost always had somebody in school, in EMS school, whether it's EMT school or paramedic school. Right now, we have 2 full-time guys in paramedic school right now and a volunteer in EMT school. Actually, 2 volunteers in EMT school. So we have 4 guys in EMT school, EMT or paramedic school right now. So we have our own people that have to do it. So it makes it easier for us to buy in because, hey, it's helping us. We teach our own people. Why don't we just help teach somebody else? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's part of the culture. Sounds like definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cost wise, monetarily, there's some costs involved with equipment. Disposable equipment, wear and tear, and stuff like that. All of that's on us as a department. We have to eat that cost or cover it ourselves, but we consider it just cost of training. Some of the equipment they use today is reusable from patient to patient, so there's no cost there. But some of the disposable stuff, we just reuse it from class to class. One of the pieces of equipment they pulled out today, it's probably been there 3-4 years. So you can reuse equipment. You don't have to throw it away after every use because it's for class purposes. Yeah.
So it's part. I think that again, just to highlight some of the really great things about this partnership, and one of the things that we talk about frequently is trying to create more connection between the workforce and education. And this certainly does that because the students come here, they get to be part of the action, they see it happening, they're learning from your experience. So definitely does that. I think that it's amazing they have this opportunity in high school because as you talked about a little bit earlier, I think we all pick up the phone and just expect there to be, a quick, fix emergency services. And this is all across the state, all across the country, and to allow and provide the opportunity, I think, for students at this time in their life to experience it, to learn about it, to maybe volunteer, to maybe make a career. I think it just makes a big difference in your field. So I think this model is wonderful, and I would encourage any fire department, who maybe thinks about it to reach out. And what steps would you encourage them to take? If a fire department is like, we maybe want to get into a partnership like this.
They need to reach out, obviously get involved with the local community college, see if they can, is the community college willing to add them as an adjunct professor? Some groups in certain areas might be a little proud and don't want to allow other new people in. They want to keep their core instructors, and allowing another instructor in. Are they going to teach the way we want? And so on. That can, reach out to that, see if there's an option there to do a class that's off-site. Most community colleges are going to allow you, whether it's WIT or NCC or Hawkeye Community College or Hawkeye Tech or whatever it is, or DMAC or whatever across the state. Those schools almost always have programs off campus. So it's just another off-campus program in a sense, right? There is going to be some background information that has to be done and paperwork and stuff, but get involved with them, see if they're willing to do it first, get involved with the school, see if that's something that wants to happen with that. I know there's rumblings in the department. I know this is about EMS, but I know in the department there's discussion of us starting up a Fire One program class for the school as well. So not only are we getting people involved in EMS, we're getting people involved in fire, because we do know that fire and EMS in today's society is pretty much one anymore. You look at all the big cities; they all do both. For the most part, there's oddities out there. But back to your question with doing that, get involved with the school, see if that's something they want to offer, figure out a time frame that works. We used to offer this class in the fall. It used to be a fall class, ran first semester. Then it started to get to be a little bit of a scheduling issue with Fire Prevention Month in October, harvest, marching band, different things that the schools do, football. Kids that were wanting to take the class couldn't take it because it conflicted with so many other things. Because it started at 7 a.m. There's always early band practice, so on and so forth, early football practice and stuff. Where in the spring there is still conflicting things, but not as many. So we, as a department, asked the school, could we move it to second semester? And they said, yeah, that's great. We gave them reasons why, and they said absolutely. We would definitely entertain that. So we moved it to the spring. So I would say get a hold of the community college, see if they're interested in doing some off-site stuff, and then get a hold of the school, figure out how it can be done financially, because the cost of the class can be substantial individually if you wanted to host it on your own. But if you can get the school involved and they can start using some of the concurrent enrollment money and College Now stuff and all those different funding programs that are out there at the state level to help offset costs, that definitely makes life a lot easier for the students.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you so much for sitting down with us and taking the time out of your schedule to talk about this program that you're clearly so passionate about. And we're just thrilled to see what you guys have done here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And again, stick around because we are just about to talk to your son on his kind of role and experience going through this program as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
Yeah, my name is Sebastian MacGregor, and I'm a senior here at Lamar's Community.
Okay, and thanks for talking to us a little bit today, Sebastian. We're here because we were learning more about the EMT training program that is a partnership between the fire department and the high school. And you are a student in that. So first, can you just tell us a little bit about what happens in that class?
So daily routine, we come to class. We take a year-long class in a semester. So instead of being about an hour, like a normal class period, we're 2 hours a day from 7 to 9 here at the fire station. We have a set schedule that we've got from the beginning of the class, but a usual day we come, if it's a lecture day, we sit down, we go through the PowerPoint. That will usually take the most of class. If there's a little bit of time left over, we might do some hands-on stuff related to what we had just learned. But then usually that takes about the whole class period. And then the next day we'll come in and we'll do the skills related to the stuff we just did. So we did the patient extrication out of a car today. So that was something that we talked about with like splinting and stuff. So we learn something one day, come in the next day, review it, do the hands-on stuff. And that's just the process that we do. And then usually every day we have a lecture day. There's a quiz that is involved after that we have to do outside of class on our own time. So today, since we didn't finish the entire chapter, we won't have a quiz today, but tomorrow we'll finish it. So tomorrow, after class, I'll go home, take the quiz. And then when the whole unit is done, so right now we're in our trauma unit, that is 7 chapters, and that finishes up this weekend. So then on Monday when we come to class, we'll be taking our unit exam for the trauma unit. And then we'll start the next unit, but otherwise it's just lectures one day, skills the next day over the stuff we've just learned. It's good to keep us fresh. 2 days ago, we went back and did some medical stuff that we hadn't touched on in a couple weeks just to keep us fresh. Obviously, we've gotten so used to dealing with trauma, we got to stay up to date on our medical side of the patient care as well. So back and forth. It's good variety, though. It's not the same thing every single day.
Yeah, and then you also you have to do a certain number of clinical hours, right?
Correct. They've changed it up this year. It's always been 16 hours in an ambulance, 8 hours in a hospital. They found that a lot of students were going to ERs and getting all their patient contacts in the ER, which is good, but then you get hired on a department and you've never had a patient on an actual 911 call, and it's completely different. So we need 8 hours in a hospital. I've gotten those 8 hours, which is really nice. I got, I think, 8 patients in 8 hours, so it was really good. A lot of patient care. I've done, I think, 19 hours now doing clinical times right along. I've gotten 2 911 calls, which were a lot different pace than an ER where it's a little bit laid back. We had a unresponsive male last night, so I got the adrenaline running, but it was really good. I personally enjoyed the 911 calls more.
Okay.
But then last year was the last year where they had the format of 10 medical patients, 5 trauma patients. It was just kind of too broad and generic, so they've structured it down to we need certain type of medical calls. We need respiratory patients. We need cardiac related patients. We need psychiatric patients because they want a wide variety.
Yeah.
So I'm only a few psychiatric patients away, and I'm pretty much actually done based on the call volume with the weather this past weekend. There was quite a few fall patients up in the ER, which count as my traumas because any fall is a trauma. And we had an older gentleman last night that fell. He just needed getting put back into bed, so that counts as a trauma patient. So ER definitely got the patients, but I enjoy the 911 calls more as they're more energetic. It's new. I found in the ER I was being the student. I'm not the doctor who's there diagnosing, so it's more just vital taking, ask them questions, but all 3 of my 911 calls so far have been something completely different. Nothing's been the same, which I really enjoy.
Yeah. So you really have gotten the view of what all those different things are like, and they are very different, as you said. So what are your next steps, or and why did you take this class?
I took the class, growing up, obviously my dad, he's been in EMS longer than I've been alive. He was a EMT for, I want to say 15 years, then went back and got his advanced EMT, which he was. He used to be a retail business owner while also being an advanced EMT, but he was an educational supply company, but with everything going online, it wasn't getting the demand that it used to have. So he went back to paramedic school on his own. Past that he's a very good paramedic now, but now he's working full time here. So obviously I've always seen him doing what he does. I've always admired what he does. My uncle, he's a ER doctor out in Michigan, so I'll talk to him about medical things too. So I enjoy the medical side, and obviously with the school hosting it, I don't have to pay for the class because it's not a cheap class by any means. So I definitely knew it was going to be something I at least wanted to try, and maybe it wasn't going to work out, and I didn't want to go into the emergency side, but so far I've really, really enjoyed the 911 dispatches and everything related to the EMS side of it.
That's awesome. And this is the curriculum that's taught that prepares you to take your test to be a licensed EMT, correct?
Correct. The class is the testing and stuff for the class, like the chapters are through an EMS testing, which is just kind of like a Pearson Realize in a sense, where it's just a testing center for EMT students, paramedic students, whatever. But this is just preparing us for the National Registry, which is the national test. The questions are similarly questioned, but the questions aren't going to be the same because it's a whole different program. But this is preparing us to take that National Registry test to become certified.
And do you plan to do that?
I do plan to do that. I play baseball in the summer, so with this class ending in May, it's going to be not the easiest to find time to take it, but I don't want to. I know we had a student last year who waited till after baseball season was done until like August, and he forgot quite a bit of the information. So I want to make sure I get this taken right away after, so I can get certified, and then hopefully I can get hired and do some ride times with them after baseball season's over.
That is so great.
Yeah.
So any advice you have to fellow students coming up that who may be like, ooh, I don't know, it's kind of makes me nervous to think about this, or would you encourage them to do a class like this?
I would definitely encourage any student who likes medicine. It's definitely you learn the knowledge of medicine that will help even CNAs or registered nurses. If you don't like to read, I would recommend not taking it because you do need to read the textbook. Not reading the textbook sets you behind. The slideshow PowerPoints only cover the general topic of a paragraph. They don't give the exact details. A lot of the skills that we learn go in depth in the book, but we don't even talk about them. It's just our responsibility to read how to do a certain skill. So there's definitely a lot of reading involved. I enjoy reading medical works and stuff, so I enjoy reading my textbook. It's not like I'm pushing it off, but if you don't like to read, I wouldn't take the class.
It's good advice.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you want to share about this field, or you Your next plans?
I'm a senior this year, obviously we're all seniors here in the program, but I plan to study exercise science, kinesiology. I'm really into sports, so I'd like to be an athletic trainer for a professional sports team. I know we have a paramedic here who his plan was to be a doctor. Harton, he was going to be a doctor, and he took the program, and now he loves it. So I've really enjoyed it. We'll have to see what happens. I might go into emergency medicine and stick with it, but as of now, I'm going to plan on being an athletic trainer, but we'll see.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right.